I sold my iPad Pro, and so should you. For the past 2 years, I've been using a 2018 11-inch iPad Pro, which is awesome and has aged incredibly well. It still runs the latest version of iPadOS, and although it does struggle a little bit in the RAM department, I still love using this thing for traveling and as a portable media consumption device. But over the past few months, I've seen myself use this device less and less as time went on. So here's why I sold my iPad and why you probably should sell yours as well. When I initially got this iPad Pro, I got it mainly for media consumption, creating thumbnails, scripting videos, and possibly a little bit of video editing, and also to have a device that I could carry around with me without having to carry my MacBook Pro around with me everywhere, or using my iPhone at the time, which was an iPhone 13 mini. And I think we can all agree that the display size on that doesn't allow you to do that much. But I feel that since I've upgraded to my iPhone 15 Pro Max, which has a much larger display, there's a lot of things that I used to use my iPad for because of its bigger screen that I use my iPhone for a lot more because it's just more convenient. So where the iPad used to be a bridge between my Mac and my phone, that bridge has gotten narrower and narrower as time went on, which really takes me to my next point, which I want to ask the question, what even is an iPad anymore? I think Apple is trying too hard to turn this device into a MacBook, but at the same time trying too hard to keep it as a larger iPhone. I mean, they're throwing all sorts of crazy specs at this thing now with the M2 processor, even crazy camera capabilities like LiDAR, 2 terabytes of storage, and you can just keep going on here. Like, what is an iPad? That's my question. I remember when Steve Jobs initially launched the iPad, it was great because it was basically like your phone, but bigger. And I feel that the iPad as of right now is going through some sort of identity crisis where people want it to replace a computer, but it still isn't capable enough with the software to be able to fulfill that need. And what makes the iPad a lot more confusing for me is the software itself. It's still too basic to be a computer replacement, but it's a little bit too overkill to be a big iPhone. Like, everyone was raving about the iPad a couple years ago not really having any multitasking features compared to Android tablets, but realistically, if you want to have a decent multitasking experience on an iPad, you need to be getting something like the latest iPad Air or the latest iPad Pro. Some of the features like Stage Manager don't even work on the cheaper iPads. And also the fact that iPads that do support Stage Manager, like my 2018 iPad Pro, only have 4 gigabytes of RAM. That means multitasking on this device is just not really good. Of course, iPadOS has great potential to become a great OS, to become a great bridge between the Mac and the iPhone, but I think it's going too much in a direction where the iPad itself is just losing its identity instead of generating its own. Now, as I touched a little bit earlier, my needs for an iPad have changed quite a little bit over the past couple of years. Although my iPad is still an awesome travel companion, it's great to be able to download movies on and watch them offline, and even to be able to have a couple of games that I can play every now and then just to chill out. But I think what I need an iPad for, this thing is actually too big. Like, I know what you're thinking, like, bro, an iPad's supposed to be this size. Like, of course, this thing is incredibly thin, so much thinner and lighter than my MacBook Pro, but I don't think I need a screen this big for my use cases anymore. Like, I've been seriously considering switching to an iPad mini for quite some time now, and I think now may be the time to pull the trigger, because I feel like a lot of the productivity reasons why I got this iPad, I just never really ended up taking full advantage of it. Although it may not be as convenient, I found myself doing those things more on my iPhone and my Mac than my iPad. So realistically, what I need is not a computer replacement. It's a small media consumption device that I can carry around with me pretty much anywhere very easily. It's smaller than this, but also bigger than my phone, and that's not my phone. And honestly, I think the iPad mini just fits that criteria really well. And my final thought behind selling my iPad, and why I think you should sell it as well, is that we're potentially weeks away from getting the largest iPad refresh in the last 6 years. With the Pro models switching to OLED, adding MagSafe, getting a bunch of camera improvements, and alongside these new iPad Pros, we may also be seeing an updated iPad mini. And I mean, since these iPad refreshes are right around the corner, and usually when a new iPad comes out, the older ones drop in value, I thought might as well lock in the best price I can for my iPad right now instead of waiting. But something I am super impressed with the iPad, especially my iPad Pro right now, is that the value of this thing has actually held up incredibly well. I remember I bought this 2 years ago for around 400 quid, and I'm actually selling it on eBay for a little over 300, which means I only lost about 100 quid, give or take. And I mean, resale value isn't really something that's great on the other side, if you know what I mean. So I've established that now is probably the best time to get rid of this iPad. Of course, it's sad. Like, this iPad's been through quite a lot. It's been part of my channel since I've started this new one, and it's been a great device to caption a lot of my TikToks. I made a couple of YouTube thumbnails with this and stuff like that. And I mean, if this device is sitting on my desk most of the day collecting dust, why not turn it into some cash? And who knows, maybe the next iPad Pro will be absolutely revolutionary, but I think for now, in its current state, I don't really need an iPad. But what do you guys think about the current state of the iPad? What do you think Apple can do differently with it? Let me know in the comments below. But if you enjoyed this video and you're looking at getting an iPad anyway, but maybe you don't have enough reasons to pull the trigger, I actually made a video a little while ago, I guess, about why you should get an iPad. 11 different reasons why. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Benji from Benowi Tech, and I'll catch you guys in the very next video.